staff, it's a Middle Eastern, by the way, I have a project, it's a Middle Eastern concept. They hired 4 to 5 people because the layout of the kitchen is so scattered, right? So if you have a wok here, for example, for Chinese, if you have a wok here, then you have a deep fryer on the different side, you have to hire 2 person because it's just too much. But if the interior designer able to figure out how to concise this and take advantage that it shouldn't actually be a lot space between 2 equipments, you can only hire 1 person. And that saves labor, that translates sales, and that's where the interior designer actually helps in terms of function. So what Michael and I always follow is form follows function. It always be function first before beautiful tiles, beautiful lamps, or beautiful chairs. That's the last one. Actually, that's the easiest part of the interior design. But the most important thing is solve the problem that can generate money. Okay? Beautiful lamps will not give you good money. Like, I think function is actually going to give you money. So for example, if you're going to see this layout, you will thought that this will actually require 2 person on dinner time, or 3 person on dinner time or lunchtime. But actually, it's just like 2 person on dinner time and only 1 person on not active hours. Or it's actually 0 person on 2 o'clock to 4 o'clock. Okay? Because what's happening here is that, oh, it's not.
Explain the layout.
It's
Can
not.
you see it? Can you see it there?
Yeah, I can see it.
Okay.
You guys can see it clearly? Okay. So for here, it's easily, on food court, if you're gonna notice that 1 person is always standing at the POS, and then somebody is actually doing everything here. However, if you're gonna make it like tighter, all the POS here can actually do the drinks, the coffee, and serving alcohol in one. And that's just 1 person, right? Now, what beauty of this one is interior designer should also help you find equipment that is not bulky. For example, if you notice, this is POS. Look how skinny that POS is, right? So that POS, if it is skinny, you can have more space for you to use that as a takeout as well, and not just takeout, to give your condiments as well, right? So the kitchen is actually there at the back. One thing also that Michael, and you probably guys know this, is that the concept of open kitchen. I noticed like in Asian brands that I work on Chinese and Thai, is that they're always like a barrier on kitchen and front. They don't want to show the wok. I think that's the thing. However, if you're gonna do the open kitchen, you don't want it to show it here and then the background is all stainless steel. Then that's not actually a nice, it's not an open kitchen. You're trying to say the word that it's homemade, right? We actually looks like a homemade, but the kitchen looks like very commercial, like all stainless steel. So the beauty of open kitchen is that ask your designer to design it kind of like your house. Your house doesn't have stainless steel backsplash. Your house have tiles at the backsplash, right? Also, alcohol. People are also have a thing that they don't want alcohol because it's too expensive to ask for liquor license. Guess what? Alcohol license is actually cheap. It's only $1,000 application, and the renewal is cheap. And it also allows you not to just serve beer, but you can also serve wine and hard liquor. And for this one, Tosto, see that shelf there is small, and that houses all the alcohol. Again, going back to the labor, some of the designs, or if you go to other stores or other restaurants, they have a separate big bar. And there's 1 person doing the alcohol, like a bartender. And that's the only thing he do. But here, the person who's doing the POS is also doing the alcohol. Because the alcohol is just like you're gonna open like, what is it? Like a beer bottle. You open it or you pour wine. You save 1 person still. There's no extra person. And all the wines and ice is also ready at the very bottom there, right? So if you notice, this is sink, this is ice maker, that's the wine, there's a coffee machine there, there's a hot water pot there. This glass here are showing beers, beverages, And then POS 1 there and POS 2 there and cutlery there. Period. And it's only on 8 feet. Oh, sorry, 6 feet. That's how tight it is. The other thing also on the POS, if you're gonna do guys patio, you notice that there's always have a separate POS on the patio. POS costs $30 every month per what do you call that? Per unit. Okay. There's a POS company now that this is a tablet, and you can just take the tablet out and go to the patio and order the food there. Right? That saves you time and saves you money because you don't have to order 2 POSs anymore. Right? And printer. So everything actually shrinks. You have to, when Michael told me this, and the goal is that I need to reduce the payments that I have to do every month. POS, audio, security, Rogers, janitorial, Canadian linen, all those needs to shrink. And so it will be more viable business for you guys, okay? Now, the other thing is that the client, which is you guys, need to tell the interior designer that my budget is only $300,000, period. No above that. And the interior designer needs to comply that. And actually everybody, even the general contractor, needs to comply that. But the mostly is interior designer, because the general contractor will just like perform what the interior designer do on the drawings. So the interior designer have the responsibility to make sure that everything is $300,000. That's the beauty of having a designer on the team. So Michael and I did Sosto. Michael gave me $350. $350,000 to build everything, including equipment, furniture, everything except food. Except food.
For 2,500 square foot restaurant.
2,500 square foot restaurant. So if you guys know square footage, okay. Normally, interior designers will just put probably 50 seats on a 2,500 square foot. I did 79 seats for 2,500 square feet. And that's already have a barrier-free washroom inside. And a stairs, 3-step stairs already inside. And that's a lot. And not only that, because Tosto has an alcohol license, this particular store is allowed for 120 occupant for alcohol. Yeah, for $120 customers for alcohol. That means you can do events on your restaurant with 120 people. Standing, probably. Some people are going to be standing. Okay.
Can I add it?
Yeah, go.
I'll just add a couple points if I may. Just to get a perspective on the $350,000 budget. So this was our first Tosto that Chris and I built together. The first Tosto Quick Fire Pizza Pasta at 800 Bay Street in downtown Toronto. That's Bay and College. That's AAA Real Estate. It's owned by a multi-billion-dollar land company. That's a landlord from the Middle East. And by contrast, these are the pitfalls. He's absolutely correct when he says you have to work with an interior designer. You have to work with a good interior designer that appreciates where you're coming from, who the client is, and what the client's budget is. And by contrast, 1 block up the road, 1 block north, an Italian restaurant opened up called Via Bay, and they spent $1.4 million and built an 80-seat restaurant, and were in the top 10 brand new restaurants that opened up in Toronto that year by Toronto Life, and 18 months later were bankrupt and out of business. They couldn't return the capital investment. They were also in a $17,000 a month net rent for their premises. By contrast, this Tosto, we negotiated a rent that was $8,000 a month. So it cost them 4 times more to build the restaurant. And why? Because for young entrepreneurs, young restaurateurs, they didn't have a clue what they were doing. They only had a dream and a lot of money. And what happened was, instead of hiring people that have good resumes, good portfolios, like our esteemed colleague back there and ourselves, and I'm sure the Mr. Yip this morning and others, and an appreciation to do some good, hard, honest work on behalf of their clients. Instead, they unfortunately got ripped off. And that's a sad situation because it gives them a bad name, but it also gives the industry a bad name. But people are often a little bit reluctant to go and hire an interior designer. That's another danger point because often people say, well, I could do it myself, or their wife is talented. They don't realize that their wife is a great decorator, but not an interior designer, not somebody that has professional space planning, reflective ceiling planning, HVAC, and the coordination between all the electrical, plumbing utilities and whatnot. So always beware of the pitfalls, and I think that's in summary what Chris is also, one of the highlights of this discussion this afternoon, is that when there's a $350,000 budget, you sign on that budget and not a penny more, and you hold the interior designer responsible, not just the contractor, but the interior designer also, and let him back up what cost $350,000. How much is the infrastructure? How much is the infrastructure of the contracting? How much are the material finishes? How much is the furniture and fixtures, etc.? Right? So you get it all itemized and you have it down there to a penny. You could feel comfortable and confident that you could safely go into the restaurant industry and be set up for success and not set up for failure.
Also, the interior designer can help you enumerate all those things so you can use that to apply for a small business loan, right?
Correct, also. You need that for a small business loan as well.
Also, interior designer can do 3D rendering. You're going to see some 3D rendering later that you can also use on the SBL, right?
Yes.
Okay, so this one is also tossed, so that's the dining area. One of the advantages that nothing is bolted to the floor, so you can have longer group. Also, you can add more chairs if you want a bigger party. You can also remove all the things and have a cocktail party. So for this Tosto, they were able to host book signing, they were able to fundraising, and they just remove all the chairs and have a standing, right? So now you're thinking that the restaurant is not just a restaurant, but also an event space. And that's actually the beauty of flexibility and adaptability of the design. Okay, so this is another Tosto at Bayview and Eglinton. So same thing, everything, there's only one person stationed there at the front. We're able to open the key